All right, what is going on today, chat? Megan, the Cho is gone. RTS, the Magic Man. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. Another day, another grade review. Hopefully you guys had a good Christmas break. Hope you had a good New Year's. It's finally back on the saddle again for me. Was going through, if you guys have seen my Instagram, I've been going through a lot of cards. I've been helping out a collector complete his master set of Wizard of the Coast. I posted this in the cord. So we got a bunch of goodies there. So yeah. How many cards in the queue today? The queue is posted in the grade review thread, my friend. But the queue is closed for today, so I'd definitely recommend posting sooner rather than later. Nah, it's all good, YB. But yeah, we got some grade review up, and then we got our continuation of playing Pokemon Yellow. So excited for that. So yeah, I think we're just gonna get right into it, chat. New year, new me. So hopefully you guys have had a good holiday. So welcome back for those of you who are common frequent flyers of the channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Galaxy Gaming, and what we do here is what we like to call grade review. So people submit their cards, I review them on stream and give my general opinion on what I think they would get as a PSA grade, and we just kind of go back and forth from there, try to help you guys out. This is a absolutely free service. I don't charge anything for this. It's a cool way to look at some cool cards and keep our skills sharp with the impending action that is PSA adopting AI, which is going to be that's my big 2026 prediction. That's why I have a bunch of cards that have not been graded yet, personally, because I'm waiting for them to announce AI, and then once they do, I'm going to submit them all at once. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to kick it off with this Lugia V from Silver Tempest, the main chase from Silver Tempest. So we are just going to get right into it. So some of you might be asking, Galaxia, what are the 4 main grading criteria that is for grading? Well, chat, that's a good question. Because there are 4. Centering, corners, edges, and surface. So we're going to be looking at all of those today. And for modern, Betty, what's going on? The YouTube homie, what up? We're going to be looking primarily at centering and corners for modern is typically the major issue that occurs with modern specifically. So this Lugia V, the centering is pretty good. So the top, bottom, left, and right, so we're really looking at the silver border. So that looks good. Nothing else really to look at. There's not much of an issue there. Maybe some kind of white fuzzies kind of stuck to the card that we just simply wipe off with a clean microfiber towel or cloth or something like that. So no harm, no foul there. So as we flip it over, really the only thing that I see, and you guys might be able to see on stream as well, is more of these like little white pieces kind of stuck to the back of the card. And traditionally, when you look at a Pokemon card that has those bits of whitening on the back, traditionally it's the card stock that's in the center of the card that they just simply become loose. They look almost like little dust bunnies inside of the pack, and sometimes they kind of get stuck in the natural grooves of the card stock, almost like if you're getting something stuck in your teeth. It's kind of the same similar vibe. So again, I would probably say you can probably wipe these off pretty easily with a clean microfiber cloth or something of that nature, and then you should be good to go. The only thing that I would probably be a little bit worried about, but unfortunately the picture itself doesn't really allow us to take a crazy gander at it, which is what appears to be some minor scratching on the surface here, right in this section, as well as right here in this section. So depending on the severity of that, you might be looking at a 9 because the surface score might become a 9. So just kind of keep that in mind. So if they're bad in person, I would probably say a 9. But if they're not, meaning that the light is kind of making them more aggressive than they probably are, so it'd probably get like a 9.5 in terms of the surface upgrade. On average, you'd probably get a 10. But that's probably the only thing that I really see wrong with this Lugia, as long as you can remove those 2 or 3 white specks on the edge, which in my opinion you probably can. So in my opinion, this card is probably floating between a 9 or a 10 if those problems don't exist. But if they do, then I'd probably lean more towards a 9 for that Lugia V. So again, for those of you who are new here, I am reviewing people's cards to give my assessment on what I think they would get as a PSA grade. So if you guys want to know more about how to do that, if you are new here, please feel free to let me know in chat. I'd be more than happy to guide you through that process. Or if you guys have any questions about anything vending related or Pokemon related, I make a lot of that style of content. So if you guys are new here, I always love answering your guys' questions and try to help out the community as much as I can. So I appreciate you guys hanging out. All right, so the next big boy in the house is Umbreon EX. So this one obviously is probably one of the most highly sought after cards in Prismatic Evolution, which is the Umbreon EX. Hello, Chud. What's up, my man? We're going to be seeing a lot of you during our Pokemon Yellow Nuzlocke today. So hopefully you're ready for your time in the sun. So Umbreon EX. It is very well centered. That's the first thing that really strikes out to me. Is it's a very well centered card. Corners look great. There's really not a lot of issues on the front. Now the back is giving me a little bit of an issue on the bottom right corner, unfortunately, but there is some other stuff that we might have to kind of look at as well. But yeah, I'm going to be playing some Pokemon Yellow Nuzlocke once I'm done. We have 8 cards in queue tonight. So we're going to be playing that and just kind of chilling and talking. So this one right here. So this bottom right corner. So we have a little bit of whitening here and a little bit of whitening there. So here's one of the, and I'm going to pause it because I feel like I'm yelling. Pause the music rather. So one of the things that I've mentioned in the past few videos, and I actually have a new short coming out tomorrow, kind of talking about the whole AI grading and tag and all this stuff. Those white dots, I would traditionally call them Gambler's 10s. But my general opinion and kind of general prediction going into 2026 is PSA is going to have to adopt AI grading at some point. They'd be very foolish not to at this point. And so it's going to become a point where once PSA announces, hey, we're now doing AI grading, the whole like new certs are better than old certs that's currently happening. There's going to be a new version of that where AI certs for PSA are going to be better than the new certs. So why I'm saying that is kind of the Gambler's 10, meaning like it could be a 9, it could be a 10. I feel like those days are starting to end sooner rather than later. So a lot of these, if you can try to get them graded, and if you feel like they could get a 10, but there might be kind of like a 9 or a 10, and you get the 10, I would sell them as soon as possible. Because once that day comes where the AI grading is fully indoctrinated into PSA, those days are going to be out the window. So if you can get that in, because their turnaround times are awful right now, then you can try to roll the dice. But in my opinion, with those two, I would say it's probably more than a 9 than it is a 10. So let me unmute the music. So that's kind of my general opinion on that. And if you guys, it goes without saying, if you guys have a different opinion or want to express your thoughts on the whole tag grading, AI grading in general, I'll be more than happy to listen to the community on your guys' thoughts as well, because I think it's a really interesting topic. Obviously, AI is not going anywhere. It's a big topic of discussion. So if you guys have any opinions on that, please let me know in chat. But aside from that, maybe slightly thicker on this left side than the right, but definitely within that range. It's not going to get a black label anytime soon, but and I believe that this is part of the background. So it's really just this bottom right corner that's giving me a little bit of issue. So in my opinion, with this Umbreon EX, the front is fantastic. It's really just that bottom right corner that's really kind of given me issues. And again, as we kind of go closer to like AI grading taking over and the high likelihood of PSA adopting AI grading, which is then gonna kind of supersede the newer certs as being the premium, I think we really should start to stray away from Gambler's 10s, in my honest opinion, unless you just want to get it graded just for the sake of grading it, which is a totally different conversation. But I think with this Umbreon EX, it would most likely get a 9, in my opinion. So next up, we have the Real Skip. And as always, guys, if you guys are enjoying yourselves, liking and sharing the live is always appreciated. The almighty algorithm loves the data. It loves the likes. It loves the shares. So if you guys are enjoying yourself so far, I really do appreciate it. And that is my selfish plug. All right, so next up we have the Mega Zard, the Ultra Rare from Phantasmal, and then we have the SIR Mega Venusaur from Mega Evolution. So, and Betty, I don't know if you are here still. Let me know, because I have a cool idea that I'll share with both you and the stream about a February project that I'm thinking about doing. So you guys can weigh in on if you find interest in it, so if you guys are here. Alright, so Mega Charizard EX from Phantasmal Flames. So, the centering, a little bit thicker on the right side than the left, but I think we're definitely within that 55-45 range. For sure. So not really too worried about that. The back is great. Corners look fantastic. Centering looks good. Really not worried about that. So I would probably give this a pretty good shot at a 10. This Mega Charizard. So the Mega Venusaur, however, let's take a look. So centering on the Mega Venusaur is very good as well. Top, bottom, left, and right are fantastic. So nothing of note there. So this one is a little bit thicker on this right side than it is the left. In addition, and you guys in chat can probably weigh in and if you see something similar, but this card looks a little bit off center. Well, not really off center, but like kind of angled in kind of this general direction here. So I don't know. I don't know if it's just me, if you guys can kind of see that too, but from almost like this point here to this point here, this looks more of like a of an angle versus just a straight line across. I don't know if you guys can see that. I don't know if you guys think that that's there. If I'm going crazy, if I'm not going crazy, I have no idea. But it does appear to look like that a little bit. So with that being said, typically with something like this, based on seeing other people submit cards that are kind of similar in nature, or just from past experiences, which are in this specific case is very limited. But since it's not really a centering issue, it's more of like a alignment issue. The centering itself would be impacted to the point where I'd probably imagine that the centering subgrade wouldn't be really a factor. It'd be more of like the surface. But again, this is more speculation. But having said that, I don't think this would get a 10 because of that kind of slight misalignment on the top, from the top left to the bottom, or to the top left to the top right. It's a little, to me, it looks like a little bit of an angle, but again, it might be the fixture, it might not be, it might be going crazy, I don't know. But definitely weigh in if you think it's something different. But I think if that is true, I'm probably saying more of a 9 than a 10 for that specific case. Okay, so next up is Harry with the Mega Dragonite, where one of the things that I really have been enjoying about these Megas, and I think we have a Mega Charizard coming up soon that we can kind of see here, is it has the full evolutionary line included in the artwork, which I think is really cool. I don't think really any of the other Megas from the older sets have really done that. So this is kind of like a really cool homage. This card looks fantastic. It's really well colored. I absolutely love this card. So let's take a look. So This card looks a little bit thicker on that right side than the left. So one thing we can do, because I haven't done one yet, is we can kind of demonstrate how to measure centering on a Pokemon card. So I know there's apps out there and whatever, but I think it's really important to kind of know the math and the strategy behind measuring centering, because at the end of the day, sometimes these tools could fail kind of out in the wild, so you really need to be kind of cognizant or aware on how to kind of like eyeball or kind of see how to measure centering. So with this one, we're going to take this edge from here to here, count the tick marks. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4.5 roughly, so 4.5 on that right side. And on the left, we have 1, 2, 3, probably like 3.75 to 4, but we'll just say 4 for argument's sake. Again, anytime I do measurements on a computer screen, I always recommend that you do them in person, because in person is going to be much more accurate than a computer screen. But so how we go about this is you add both values together. So in this case it would be 8.5, and we just divide one of them by the sum. So we divide the right side by the total, and we get 52 or 0.53. So 53:47 is kind of the ratio. So since that is within that 50-50 to 55-45, this card technically shouldn't have a problem not getting worse than a PSA 9 just from centering alone. So we're definitely within that range, because the rest of the card looks fantastic. Now, if we look at the rest of the card, and typically there are some instances where we won't be able to see obviously where the finger is holding the card, but one thing that I will say is if we leave these little bits of, and I know this is probably going to sound pretty crazy, but this is, all these factors will ultimately make or break your PSA 10 potential, is a lot of these little, like kind of loose little like cardstock strands or cardstock little hairs that are kind of left on the edge. How I typically try to treat these or remove them is very simple. If you just take something as simple as painter's tape, kind of wrap it around your finger with the sticky side on the outside, you just kind of gently roll up and down the edge of the card to kind of pick up some of those loose fibers, because otherwise you may get dinged with edge issues, which would probably reduce your grade. Hey, what's going on? So that's all I would probably do, is just take some painter's tape, kind of gently roll across, and kind of pick up some of those loose fibers. I know, Bardian. I'm out here, man. I'm out here giving out some advice. But aside from that, the card looks really good. Again, a little bit thicker on this right side, on the back as well. But the back is much more lenient than the front on paper. So on the back, instead of it being 55-45 like the front, it really should be 75-25 on the back, so much more lenient. And I believe that this one would be within that range. Yes, YB. I personally use painter's tape. It's super safe, as long as you kind of just roll it around your finger and just kind of, like, you don't have to like press into it, but just, you know, like light passes up and down. That's all it really takes. Blake, what's going on, man? What's your take on hollow waxing and polishing? I know that, you know, people that use card wax, it's a really big market now. There's a lot of people that try to restore these cards. And at the end of the day, you know, I still personally see, I personally believe that using card wax to fill in certain scratches or light scratches is still considered alteration, in my personal opinion. But the counter that I immediately will get is, well, if PSA doesn't catch it, or if you do a good enough job cleaning it, then it doesn't matter. It's like, you know, yeah, you're right, it doesn't matter. But that's just my personal preference. And we also don't know, with these chemicals that people are trialing, people are trying to make their own combinations, people are trying to make their own like ratios and formulas. We don't know what this stuff is going to do to the long term of the card. Like, You know, if the residue is still on there but was cleaned, you know, there's something that's filling those scratches in. So what is that going to do to the card 5, 10, 15 years down the line? We don't know. We have no idea what's going to really happen. If anything, nothing might not happen, and this is all just kind of a farce of what I'm talking about. But that's kind of my opinion. Oh, nice, Blake. Well, welcome, man. Hopefully, I don't know if this is your first time actually popping into a stream, but I appreciate you hanging out. So yeah. So having said that, with this Mega Dragonite, I'd probably lean more towards like on paper 10 technically if the measurements are correct. But in my opinion, with like the whole 75-25 on the back, I personally have it so where it's like more 60-40. I feel like 75-25, yes, on paper that's what it's supposed to be, but I've seen some that have like been within there or even better and still kind of get like a 9 or even an 8 for like really bad centering. But again, that's really more me being conservative. And I honestly believe, again, moving forward, when PSA ultimately bites and takes on AI grading, the centering might not like totally may change. And who knows? Maybe they might even adopt, or maybe they might even include their own black label after acquiring Beckett. Who knows? That's why, if you guys have not been in my last stream, I am personally holding off sending any more cards to PSA until the end of this quarter to see if there's any more announcements about PSA's future in grading and how they're going to be grading and how if standards are going to change, if technology is going to change. Just because the turnaround times are so long, there's really no, for me personally, there's no real incentive for me to submit my cards at like high submission rates with really awful turnaround times. My cards aren't getting more damage, so I'm just gonna wait. So that's kind of my food for thought. But all right, next is Bokami with some Gardevoirs and Deoxys. With AI grading, do you think the older graded stuff will tank? Well, I would say the first thing that I think of when I'm presented with that question is how the market reacted with old certs versus new certs. A good example is looking at the PSA 10 Pikachu Illustrator that's currently starting to become more predominant again in social media with Logan Paul. That card today, if you look, even going through all the grading that we're talking about right now, if you do the same assessment on that card, that Pikachu Illustrator, in my personal opinion, should not receive a PSA 10 because of the amount of whitening on the corners. Both the top right and the bottom left on the back, respectively. That should not get a PSA 10 in today's standards. So, if that is if the hobby has said old certs were much more lenient than new certs, the logic should suggest that AI grading, if combined with human grading, which I think PSA, if they do that, they will put the final nail in the coffin for grading, unless there's some big thing that happens. I think if people keep trying to say, hey, tag grading, it's superior than human grading, the moment PSA also does AI grading, those people cannot say anything anymore because PSA now has AI grading, and that argument completely falls flat on its face. So then it will naturally say, well, AI is better than the new grades because of X, Y, and Z. But that, I don't think it will tank the older graded stuff. Like older meaning like the new certs of today. But I will say that I think cards that people were kind of gambling, like it should have been like it probably should have gotten a 9, but it snuck in there as a 10. Those I think are going to be out. And I also think that people are like, I've been doing this forever, but I think more people are going to be buying the card and not the grade because so many of us know the grading standards, and like a lot of us that have been like in the vending space or just collecting space in general or like grading in general, we all kind of have a sense on what cards warrant the 10 versus warrant a 9 or lower. And I think we're all going to start to kind of second look ourselves to see, oh yes, like that card actually should have deserved the 10. Because I've done that personally. There's been cards that have come to my table that have been like in the slab 10, but I'm not a believer. You know, like in most cases, like yes, they should have deserved the 10, but there has been some that I've seen in the PSA 10 with like 2 white dots in the top right and the bottom left that still have gotten 10s. And it's like, I don't know. I'll just skip for that one. But do you think cards should be valued at the grade they would grade rather than raw versus graded? Do you think cards should be valued? Are you talking about... I just want to make sure I'm understanding you, Bardian. Do you think cards should be valued at the grade they would get? So if you're talking about when... If I'm assuming that you're talking about when you submit your cards to PSA and you have to determine the declared value, I think if that's what you're talking about, I think we should do the raw declared value, because at the end of the day, we are not PSA. We're not professionals in this space, so we shouldn't have to come up with a quote-unquote arbitrary number for a grade that we don't know what it will get, because we are paying PSA to do that work for us. If that's what you mean. So I think when we assess the declared value, it should be based off of the raw condition and not what we think it would get as a PSA grade. Let me rephrase. Do you think when buying raw cards there should be a raw price? I would say in most cases, actually, YB just got a sub from October back. All 10s, nice. That's 6. Sorry, that you might have had that in there for a while. I apologize. But yeah, so I would say with pricing cards, typically TCG Player will be the kind of the gold standard unless something else changes for Modern. So if a card is near mint, since there is no near mint plus category, which thank God there's not, because that would be a whole different conversation. Near mint is near mint. Flat out, plain and simple, whatever. In my professional opinion, if you think a card should get a 10, don't put it out for sale and upcharge saying that, hey, this has a good likelihood of getting a 10, so I'm going to offer a premium, even though it's not graded. In my professional opinion, I think that's kind of... like, you're adding an arbitrary premium to get more without you actually doing the work that is submitting the card on your own to then kind of put your money where your mouth is, so to speak. But for higher-end vintage that has a lot less sales data to go off of, a TCG Player, that's where sessions like this, where you kind of need to do a rough calculation on what you think the card would get as a grade to just have data points and data sets to work off of. You know, like for example, like I've had several cards from like Skyridge or Aquapolis that are like near mint, like really clean cards, but I've had to kind of do like you know, what do I think it would get as a PSA 7, or I think this card would probably get a PSA 8 or a PSA 7, and then do like a rough idea on how much it is, because it's not me saying that this is what it's going to get and this is what the premium is going to be. I'm basically doing that because the last sale was 2 years ago and the market's changed since then. But that gives us at least a ballpark to start with, and then the negotiation can happen there. And I'm also transparent with any potential buyer in that case too, to say like, hey, I'm not seeing a lot of sales data, but we can start here. This is what I think it'd probably roughly get as a grade. We can just kind of go from there. So that's kind of how I personally do it. But that's really good questions, Bardian, for sure. Okay, Mega Charizard. This bad boy is a little off-center on that right side, but I think you might be within that range of that 55-45. But again, with the looming AI, I'd be careful. Okay, so the only other thing that I see that I would probably be aware of, Bokami, is this bad boy right here. So this, like this area, to me, may suggest that there is some like degree of like kind of like a pack fold or like a kind of an issue with the edge. And you could, if you wanted to, like, I measured, it was 46.54. Boom, look at that. You are right on the cusp, my friend. So yeah, so that's probably the only thing that I could probably think of, is just be careful with this left edge. But aside from that, this is also something you might want to wipe off. It looks like it should be pretty easy to wipe off. So that's probably the things that I have in green. Those are probably the only two things that I'd be a little mildly concerned about. So like if this is like actually like a pack fold or a pack bend, and this is something that you can't get off, then you're probably not going to get a 10. Because again, as a reminder, for Modern, it's pretty much PSA 10 or bust at this point, with very, very, very few exceptions. But if that's not present, then you're probably looking at a 10 because the corners themselves are really good and the centering is really good on the back. So with this bad boy, you know, you're probably dancing around that. So either or if both. Are you talking about the centering? Looks slightly tilted to me, but I might. Yeah, if you're talking about that one on the back, but okay, Gardevoir. Let's take a look. Okay, so the only thing that I see, and I don't know, that's the Deoxys. Oh, I just closed out of it. The only thing that I am concerned with on the front of this, and I don't know if it's the texturing or not, is going to be this guy on the bottom left. Let me take a quick screenshot of this. So really, I don't know if this is a ding or not, because it's a little bit darker here. But that's probably the only thing if there's a little bit of a dent there. Because the rest of the card looks well centered. Let's take a look on here. Yeah, so this one you had it really kind of illuminated here. Yeah, so in my opinion, based off of what I'm kind of seeing from some of these pictures, if that is a dent, you're probably not going to be getting the 10, like right in this section. You probably would get like an 8, because of that little ding. But my guess is that, yeah, my guess is you probably wouldn't get a 10, because of that. But depending on the severity, you know, I think a 7 would be pretty aggressive. I don't think it'd be a 7. I'd say realistically, you're probably looking at an 8 for that Gardevoir specifically. Yeah, I hear you, man. Trust me, it is a mistake that I have made countless times, countless times. Yes, I would. Bardian. Chris, what's going on? Betty, what's going on? I was actually, I don't know if you caught me talking about the February idea or not, that I want to run by you and run by chat. I think it'd be kind of cool. So while I wait for you, so Deoxys, Delta species from Holland Phantoms. So a lot of these cards, oh, you're good. Once I'm done with this Deoxys, I'll explain it before I shift over to Pokemon Yellow. Well, that's good, Chris. Back on TikTok. I love it. A lot of the reverse holos from, like, Deoxys, Holland Phantoms, Unseen Forces, a lot of those with, like, the set name in the bottom right has kind of being seen and gaining a lot of popularity as of late. So these cards are pretty good, are pretty spicy. Not a lot of them is PSA 10s. So, Oh, there you go. Ooh, nice. I have a Google Pixel specifically. Um, separating yourself from the iPhone, I see. Yeah, so the centering is actually pretty good on this. So the only thing that I potentially see, and again, you might have to kind of confirm most of this, is maybe something up here going on. Ah, classic Chud. I was looking at the Fold Z7. Those look cool, and they can emulate 3DS. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, one emulation that I thought was pretty cool was, I think it's called Pizza Boy, I'm pretty sure, for mobile devices. That's what I use. It's pretty straightforward. Well, whenever you and Waste wanna play when it's not at like 3 a.m. I'm down. Just give me the invite, man. I'm the kind of guy, like, if you want to play, send me an invite and I'll let you know if I can or not. But I also know that you guys like to play with a lot of people too, so I'm just chilling. But yeah. Oh, Chris, yes. Yeah, the front, all in all, the front looks pretty good, based on what I can see in the picture. Nah, you're good. I get it. Yeah, so the back. Yeah, I'm always down to play. Just shoot me a message and I'll let you know if I'm going to bedtime or not. True. You're not wrong. Yeah, so I would say, Bardian, I would say that your assessment of this is pretty accurate. I would say you're probably like in the LP minus range. I don't know. It was kind of hard for me to see what the holo looked like on the front. But you know, with some of this whitening on the top here, and then some of the edge wear on that left corner here, and here, you know, you're probably looking in like that, like LP to kind of going in to the into that mod play range, but I think it's more just kind of mild whitening. I think you're pretty spot on. I'd probably say that this card most likely would probably be like a 6, just from the amount of whitening. I think near mint would kind of not be accurate, but I don't think it'd be mod play. So I think a 6 or light play is a pretty good range. So, but yeah. So before I go on to Pokemon Yellow time, so one of the things, Betty, if you're still here, or just anyone in general, one of the things that I'm going to be announcing is starting. I'm gonna try it at least the first Sunday of each month. So on February 1st, I think. I'm going to be basically doing an online vendor show, because there's a lot of people in the community that simply don't have means to travel to me. So I think it'd be cool to kind of go back and do, like, not like, yes, like a claim sale, so to speak, on like TikTok or YouTube or whatever other platform, but more of like what it would be like at a show. Like, I have my showcase, like I have my online store updated as though I'm at a show, so that if you want to look at a card, you can just go swing through my store and kind of pick up the card live. So what that does is that'll allow me to have everything there, including cards that are like light play, moderately played, heavy play, damage, stuff like that. In addition, one of the things that I'm still trying to work out the kinks is, if you have a shirt from me, so if you have an official merch, you will get a discount on any online purchase during that time. So if you're like, you post and you tag me wearing your shirt while buying like buying something during that online show, I'll give you a discount essentially, and that would work for in person too. But online, either you're not in person, so it kind of incentivizes those who have bought my merch. It gives you a discount during that time. So what I was thinking, Betty, specifically, does the free shirt I got? Yeah, it would count. It definitely would count, and that would be for any time I do an online show. So that'd be my goal is to try to do one the first Sunday of every month. So yeah, try to kind of balance between helping out the in-person people that go to the in-person shows, as well as helping out folks who can't travel to me, but I still want to support you guys and show you everything or most of what I have, and not just like small bits and pieces. Betty, let me know. Actually, shoot me a message after stream, because one of the things we'll need help with is moderation, at least to start, to kind of see how that would go. But I can talk to you more about that off stream. So yeah. But yes, any shirt that you have would count towards the discount. That's the part I just have to try to figure out from an online perspective. But yeah. All right, chat. It is time for Pokemon Yellow Nuzlocke time. We got a free Chud from his clutches. Yes, it would probably be, most likely, it would be later so that you wouldn't be, like, I guess I'd work around your schedule. But yeah, we can talk about it after. It's been something I was thinking about, and I think it'd be pretty cool, to be honest. All right, now we need Pokemon music. There we go. So now we are playing some Pokemon Yellow Nuzlocke, chat. So where did we leave off? Oh, we left off with potential... No. Fam. So Fam has passed away. Fam the Nidorino, or the Nidoran, male, passed. So now... Yes, Chris, you're still rocking. You are still rocking. You're still alive. Betty, you are still alive. But we did catch some pretty good. I think we got a Mankey. Actually, I think I'm going to check, because honestly I can't remember. I can't remember who we have. But I know, Chris, you're still alive. And I gotta withdraw here. So who do we have? So this Cite, I think, was the Mankey. I'm pretty sure. Princess is a Spearow. Chud is a Caterpie, as always. So part of me... Let's see. I think we're going to be withdrawing a Mankey here. But yeah, I think that'd be kind of cool to try to set up or try to make a unique way to have like a, because I'm not really like a big fan of rip and ships. Like, there's not like sealed product that I have that would like that I'd want to like rip open. But I think having a way that is easy, like, because we tried it before and I think we had some pretty good responses from it when I ran it last time, to where it seemed pretty good. Like, people could just go right to the website, pick up the cards that they wanted, or kind of showcase. So that was kind of cool. Recently started watching those on TikTok. Yeah, I mean, they are nice. They're nice in the sense that, you kind of get that dopamine hit of, hey, the streamer said your name or whatever. So there is kind of that. Oh my god. Yo, what's up, Waste? Hope you're having a good day. I am having a good day. Just got done talking about some what do we got talking about? I don't know why I just stuttered so bad. We did some grade review. I made an announcement that I'm going to be starting virtual vendor shows starting the first Sunday of every month to kind of help people that can't actually go to in-person shows. Yeah. Yeah, and I think the claim will be different too, because it's like if you want to claim it, you can just go right to the website and pick it up. Yeah, exactly. Chud was in here. Chris met Chud for the first time and saw an outlandish comment. Hey, Apple, what's going on? I have your package ready to go. I think probably tomorrow or Friday. I thought I had a bunch of boxes, but I don't know where they went. So I had to loot my local stores for spare boxes. First interaction with Chud, probably gonna expect more. Oh yes, yes, without a doubt. But aside from that, Waste, you're still alive. With oh, the other thing that I was gonna say was folks who have merch online will get a certain discount when buying cards through my store during those monthly online shows. So if you're basically, you just like tag me, or like I'm trying to figure out like how the logistics of it will work. But basically, if you own merch, you're going to get a percentage off during your during a purchase, during like a vendor show, whether it's in person or online. So I thought that'd be kind of pretty cool. But I'm trying to figure out like I don't really think someone should get like $100 off for just wearing a t-shirt that costs like 25 bucks. So I'm trying to figure out like what the logistics of that is actually going to be. I do have a new hoodie. A few people. I have one more person to help me trial it out. Yeah, so I think I had a few people give me good feedback on it. So once I have one more person give me feedback, I'm probably going to do a pre-release of the hoodie. I personally love the hoodie. The only thing that was a little bit weird is that the pull strings like got sucked up in my washing machine. I don't know where it went, but it got like sucked out of the neck and is like gone forever. So, but yeah, no, I love it. I thought the hoodie was really nice. I know, wait, like, it's so funny, too, because I genuinely knew, like, I knew nothing. I just wanted to make a cool design. Like, I love, like Japanese streetwear design, stuff like that, and I just, whatever shirts I really liked, I just decided to just pick that material. Because I really hate when people, like, organizations, like, use really cheaply made shirts. It's like, you think about the material first, and then the design second, and, like, that's my personal opinion. So I wanted to get the material down as the primary and the design as the secondary, because that's, yeah, like I don't know if it was like the cheap polyester, but like, I don't know, almost like if you guys have ever bought shirts from like Redbubble, or like just, you could just tell when it's cheap, you know what I mean? And I just wanted a material that was not cheap. So, but yes, Chris, very, very similar in that sense. All right, I need to beef up my CT, because this is not going well. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I love them. I personally like it's so funny. Half of my t-shirts that I wear out in public are just my own merch. Just because I like the material. It's like I just like how they feel. Like what Waste is saying. Shout out Waste. The selfish plug. For those of you who are wondering what I'm doing, I'm trying to level up my Level up my Cite, aka my Mankey, before I take on the Golden Nugget Bridge. We get an Abra and nickname it? Yes. Apple, if I find an Abra, I got you, brother. I got you. Your Pokemon is still alive. Vulpix still is up there. I'm just trying to get everyone to level 16 before I start, because I don't know if you saw Waste, but Fam passed away. He got KO'd by a Meowth. Curious if you have any Dragonite cards. I do have Dragonite cards. Jeez, this Sandshrew is like cracked. Yeah, I had I think I have like the Dragonite. I have a bunch. But like the Dragonite V, the Dragonite from Fossil, a Dragonite from Legend Maker. I have a bunch. I have a bunch of different ones. But yeah, I think it'd be cool just to like have a, and it's honestly a lot easier for me because, you know, like I don't vend full time. Like it's not like my full-time job. So it really does take, you know, it takes me a full week to prepare for a show and price out cards and all that stuff. And so an online would be kind of nice to kind of like give me an excuse to update my inventory and then just sit in my office, like literally just sit in the corner of my desk and just kind of show off some cards and have it ready to go. Because how I do it is I use Square as a POS system. And so all my inventory, I first update the prices there, sticker everything, and then I remove them because negotiations happen and whatever. But it's easier for me because I just leave the prices up and then just say, hey, you know, this is going down like after a day or two. Oh, yeah. No, it's going to be a cool, I don't know, like, I think the first time I did that, like, I don't know if you guys remember, it was almost a year ago, when I kind of did something similar, where I had that one guy from Michigan, and I was like, I don't know if this is real or not, where he bought my, the Umbreon PSA 9 from Aquapolis or Skyridge. I can't remember what set it's from. I think from Skyridge. That's where that was from, was kind of during that, but I kind of want to make it more of like a monthly thing. But yeah, no, in-person shows are great because you get a new rotation. There's a lot more people that are selling now, from what I've noticed. But giving the people the opportunity to kind of have that vendor show experience as much as I can in an online setting is kind of nice. So, and I'll probably have, like, it'll be kind of cool too because I'll probably have some like fun giveaways and stuff like that to kind of do and just kind of incentivize people just to like stop by and hang out. So yeah. Yeah, it'll be cool. It'll like bring out the, and like to your point, Betty, it'll be nice to show off cards that I'm reluctant to show, like to keep online if they're not near mint, like especially light play or moderately play, heavy play, or damaged. Because it's so hard. What's your thoughts on the community kind of at a low? From what I've heard, I would say I would say social media makes it seem like it's low because that's what gets clicks. Like that's like the emotion is what is popular online. But I genuinely believe that like that's kind of why I'm excited for this year, to be honest, as a vendor. Prices are much lower for people who want to actually buy stuff for their collection, which, you know, some vendors may be like I don't want my cards to be cheaper. I want my cards to be more expensive. It's like, no, I'm so over that. I'm so over it. I'm over like people being priced out of the hobby. I'm over people, you know, having ponchos as the only thing in your case. And it's like you're not catering to collectors anymore. You're catering to each other, like vendors buying from vendors, and that's all it is. And it's just exhausting. It's just exhausting. So I think there's opportunities for people to kind of prioritize community over profits. And that's what I'm trying to do with things like vendor shows online or having things fairly priced, stuff like that. There's ways to do it without, you know, because at the end of the day, I was kind of showing this off in my Instagram reels. I genuinely love finding cards for, you know, like people that are looking for master sets or whatever. I love hunting for other people. You know, like Betty is a good example. I helped her find an Espeon Prime. I'm still trying to help, whether Apple wants it or not. I'm still looking for that Unigaba Pikachu. It's crazy. And Waste. I've been looking for Riftbound this entire like last quarter, and I cannot find it anywhere. But that is what's fun to me. That's what I genuinely enjoy, is looking out for the collector and trying to be like excited to say, "Hey, I finally found this card that you've been looking for." And we both have, like, we're both get excited, and that's what I genuinely like. I love the thrill of the hunt to try to find something for someone else versus the thrill of the deal to make a quick buck. Like that, like there's 1,000 other people that do that, and I just genuinely don't find joy out of it. And I think towards the end of the quarter, I was starting to get fatigued, very similar to what you were saying, Chris. And I honestly feel bad for people, to your point, that were super collecting into One Piece. But attention always shifts. Like, people try to chase the almighty dollar all the time. Right now it's on One Piece. But mark my words, when the 30th anniversary set gets leaked or when more information comes out, all those people are going to sell off their One Piece to come back into the hobby for the 30th anniversary. It happened 5 years ago. It's going to happen again. But it's just the people who aren't in it for the long run or aren't in it for the right reasons. Those are the people that keep getting burnt out or burned, because they are simply chasing the dollar and not like collecting to collect, if that makes sense. Yes. Only cards I've been trying to find decently priced Gold Star Latios, but all the ones I found are super expensive. Yeah, there was I think it was the Latias at the last show of the year. Someone came up to my booth with a PSA 1 Latias Gold Star for $1,800. And even that is like, man, $1,800 for a card that literally went through a washing machine is just crazy to me. All right, Waste. You cannot pass away against this Spearow. Lock in. Don't perish on me now, Waste. Once we get Mankey up to 16, we're gonna hit the Golden Nugget Bridge. If I lose to that, I'm deleting my channel. Well, hopefully not. Look at that, hit 2 times. You're fine. You're fine. But yeah, so at the end of the day, 2026. Well, I can kind of talk about that. So here's some of my goals for 2026. Chat, ready? Lock in. So one of my main goals, for 2026. Is to have the online, like an online vendor experience for those who have supported me throughout the years but can't go to to my in-person shows. I want to kind of create that space that I like to create in person and express that through an online channel. So that's the one. The second, which I think is a main reason why I have the online as a primary and this goal, what I'm about to say, is a secondary, which is I want to attend a Collecticon in New Jersey sometime this year. I have 2 shots at it. But the thing that I've heard time and time again is those tables, which is the stupidest thing in the planet, is that even buying the opportunity to sell cards is getting scalped. Meaning, like, tables sell out almost instantly for Collecticon. I have to be so fast and have like a army of people in line for me to see if I can get the opportunity to sell stuff. It's the craziest thing, but I think it would be a really cool experience just to have at least one under my belt, just to kind of prove to myself that, you know, I can kind of compete with the big dogs by myself, which is kind of nice. So that's probably the second big goal. And then the third one, I think, is just to, I would say just to get a nice fresh inventory and kind of keep, just keep doing my thing. I think kind of going back to my roots. You know, towards I'm not gonna lie, towards like Q3, Q4, I was starting to fall like a little bit into kind of like FOMO and like modern grails, like going up and up, and it's like I just don't see it, like, but am I wrong or whatever? And like luckily I only bought like one card and I kind of went neutral on it, but it could have been a lot worse. And I think kind of trusting my gut more, with kind of how I express my brand, how I express my business model. I think kind of staying true to myself in that regard, I think, is what I'm going to be kind of leaning in more in 2026. And I think just like continuing to kind of keep doing my thing. I love the fact that I'm so grateful that I've met a lot of really cool people just kind of through this online space. I met a lot of really cool collectors that I genuinely love, like, spending time with, or like to hear what they are, like, big into collecting. Like, that's what I genuinely appreciate, and very grateful for the relationships that I've made, both online and in person. Super grateful for it. And I'm just kind of consistently just ready to just kind of keep it pushing. You know, keep pushing, kind of see where that kind of thought process kind of takes me, and kind of keep going from there. So, thank you for my TED Talk. Yapping your guys' ears off. Waze, thanks for liking the live. Appreciate you. Appreciate you as always. I know, Chris. Literally, scalpers scalping the opportunity to scalp. It's crazy work. It's absolutely crazy work. Absolutely crazy. Oh, you guys want to see a thing I found when cleaning my apartment? I don't know. I think I showed you this, like, probably one of the first times I actually met you, which is kind of crazy to think about. But I was like cleaning my room, and I genuinely was like coming across stuff that I totally forgot that I had. So, some background lore. I'm gonna go to just chatting real quick. So, some background lore. I'm a big My Chemical Romance guy, and so this was a promotional piece that they had all signed. That I've been trying to frame it, and I've lost track of it, and I didn't know where it went until now. But the one that I'm super excited about, that I'm finally going to get his signature, is the Cowboy Bebop vinyl, but it has the signatures of all of the characters. So I'm still waiting for Spike to be the final piece to the collection. But super stoked to. I'm going to be meeting Steve. I'm going to be meeting Steve at the convention this July, actually. So super stoked for that. So finally get that signed. Yes, man. Cowboy Bebop is my number one. I would say my top, and you guys can let me know. So my top 3 anime of all time. I'll do top 3. Cowboy Bebop, hands down, no question. Neon Genesis Evangelion, that's like number 2 for sure. And then number 3, would probably be a toss-up between Samurai Champloo and probably Serial Experiments Lane. It's probably a toss-up between the two. I probably have to say Samurai Champloo, only because Nujabes made the soundtrack, and Nujabes was a monumental, was very monumental for me musically. Nujabes was like the godfather of lo-fi hip-hop. He passed away tragically way back. It was like in the early 2000s, but some of the best lo-fi, some of the best instrumental, some of the best mixing I've still heard. I still listen to him to this day. I discovered him in middle school. And if you guys have not listened to Nujabes, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. He was an amazing producer, and he made the best soundtrack for anything, in my opinion. Which is, I'm saying that even as a Cowboy Bebop fan. Nujabes, the soundtrack that he produced with Fat John in Samurai Champloo was beautiful. Yes. Oh, Betty, you and Waste would get along very well. Waste is a huge Evangelion Lane fan for sure. But another anime that I really wish kept going. If you guys have never heard of it, I feel like you shouldn't watch it because you're gonna love it and know that it's never gonna have another season. Was Dead Man Wonderland. That was such an incredible anime that kind of spun, like, it was kind of like a weird beginning rendition of Squid Games, and it was it was so good. It was so good, and then it just stopped. It was like it had like such a good like ending to the season, and then they just didn't make it anymore. Like, they made mangas and whatever, so I guess I could like technically read those. But man, Dead Man Wonderland was such a great anime. Or what's the other one that I'm thinking? Soul Eater. That was another one that was like, oh, so great. Soul Eater was such a great anime, and then they just rushed through it. It's like, oh crap, we were running out of money. Here's like whatever. Is that the one with the attracted guard or cop lady? Chris, I think when we're talking about anime, if we're to play like Guess Who, you probably knocked like one peg down out of like 70. I think like most of them have some attractive guard and or cop lady of like all anime. But yes, that is one of them. I have to go. Have live in an hour. Yeah, Waste. Thank you for stopping by. If you guys have not already, make sure to check out Wasteland over on Twitch and TikTok and YouTube now. Super cool, super chill. I think she's playing some more mech games, so definitely check her out. But I'll catch you later, Waste. But yeah, it was great, but it just sucked. It sucked that it like just ended. Ugh, it was awful. I haven't watched anime in ages. Yeah, I hear you. You know what's funny, Chris? Like, I've come to terms with I can only watch anime that has, and it's kind of ironic that I was just talking about the whole Dead Man Wonderland only having one season. I kind of get addicted to watching anime. Like, I get really involved in the plot. And if it's more than like one season, like if it's really long, like I just don't like I want to sink my time into it, but I need it to be like I need it to be like one season or like not very many episodes. Betty, you know what's funny? One of my really good friends absolutely loves Steins Gate. And I hear him talk about it very, very highly, and I haven't given it a shot yet, and I don't know why. I feel like I need to, because it's kind of like it's like the kind of like time machine-y kind of plot line to it, right? I know I'm kind of butchering kind of the explanation. I'm probably not doing it justice, but that's kind of like the overall gist, right? True. I watched One Piece 3 times during lockout. That's crazy. That's crazy, dude. That's cool. That's nuts. Steins Gate is insanely great. Yeah, I feel like I have to try it at some point. I have to try it at some point. But yeah, I'm super kind of going back to the online vendor thing. I definitely, if you guys are in the Discord, I definitely would be open to any ideas or suggestion, almost like a suggestion box on what you would like to see out of that. I'm totally like the February one's definitely going to be kind of like a trial run. I definitely want to do it the first Sunday of every month, so I want to try to get it really kind of solid. The first 7 episodes are kind of sleeper. I feel like that's like, in my opinion, when people talk about like anime and shows, I always try to give the first 10 episodes like a good watch, because I think there's a lot of like character development that needs to happen with a show like animes, because they're so in depth most of the time that I feel like you really can't do it justice until you give it like a good like first 10 episodes of an anime. So that totally makes sense. All right. You have to watch Steins Gate in a certain order. Are there multiple like seasons or something, or like sub? What, I don't even know what you would call it. Sub arcs, I guess, or like different arcs. But yeah, maybe I'll maybe in the Discord either sometime this week watch the first season, accept the last 1 or 2 episodes, then watch the second season, then go back to the first season. Okay. That's so funny. Yeah, you'll have to tell me the order that I should watch it, and I'll give it a shot. But yeah, I think tonight I'll probably make like a suggestion box, or like kind of like go over like my plan for the online kind of like vendor show experience, and then give you guys a chance to kind of like weigh in on what you think. Like in addition to some of the thoughts that I'm having, have you guys weigh in on what you'd like to see. Because it's really like, especially for the people who I don't have the pleasure of seeing in person, I really want to know from your perspective, kind of some of the cool things to see, or things that you've seen that like other people do like online. Maybe it's through like a rip and ship or whatever, that I can see if I could try to incorporate. Like again, I'm not really ripping packs; it's more of like claims, to kind of really give like that feel. But. Butterfree, huh? Yeah, I'll definitely have to give that a shot, Betty, for sure. Oh, I became confused, huh? Alright. Let's see. Gotta get the Pidgey on deck. Butterfree almost destroyed Vulpix. I'm getting stringed by Butterfree. How rude. There we go. Easy. Oh, look at that XP. That XP distribution. Hopefully you're here, Bardian. You're putting in work. You just put in some super work, Bardian. I think you evolve. I think you either evolve at 17 or 18 or 20. I can't remember. I cannot remember. Yes, definitely. Yeah, any inspiration. Yeah, I'll start like a suggestion box or something in the ideas channel probably. See where it leads. Because at the end of the day, I want to have a lot of fun with it. So, but yeah. But hopefully you guys are having a good Wednesday. I always like these streams, to be honest. It's always nice to kind of take a pause and use, like, because normally I work on the business between, like, 8 my time to, like, 8 to 10, so, like, 2 hours. So I consider this, like, I kind of cheekily see this as work. So it's kind of nice to catch up with you guys and answer some questions and, you know, just BS a little. you know, BS while I'm watching a Mankey just beat the piss out of a Jigglypuff. Oddish. Tackle. I think we're gonna get... Let's get Pizza Rat in rotation. Pizza Rat hasn't seen some action. Pizza Rat needs to get in on this XP. Okay, Pizza Rat, like, I guess just get destroyed by Absorb? Like, okay. Like, can't even... Oddish is slurping. Oddish is slurping him up, chat. But not Bardian. Bardian tanks. Bardian is an absolute tank. The other thing I don't know... What do you guys think? So technically, when I go up, like, I guess I could get Charmander. Like, I just find that kind of, like, cheap in a weird way. Because, like, but then, I don't know. I think I might. I think I might get Charmander, just to say that I had it. Betty, thanks for liking the live. Appreciate you. Oh, awesome. Well, I told you. The year of the Betty. Well, I'm glad you had a good day. Glad things went well. I'm trying not to take naps. That's so funny. Like, I take that as, like, because you're not taking naps, you're having a good day. Oh, wait, no. I had misclicked. It's not very effective. Oh, God. Oh, nice. Easy. Actually calculated. I knew Cite was going to flinch the Ekans. Oh, here we go. Cite is running. Cite is running with it. Zubat, huh? Let us get... Let's get Waste in the mix. Bedrot is not on my 2026 board. You know what? That's totally fair. That is totally fair. Well, I'm glad to hear. I'm glad to hear. You know, just kind of showing up. Showing up is half the battle. So, I know it's kind of like cliche, but it really is. I think just even like kind of breaking the, like kind of the loop, like the habit loop that you want to get yourself out of, like that takes a lot of, you know, that takes a lot of strength and willpower to even do that. You know, because if you're like keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, you're developing a habit, and like even getting out of that habit is difficult. So, it's nothing to scoff at. If there's something that you want to, like if there's a habit loop you want to get out of, or a dopamine loop you want to try to get out of, and you can, I think it's being mindful is not a bad thing. Being mindful is a very admirable trait. So it's not something to just simply look over. Let's see it, Betty. How are you doing? Oh, look at that. Jumping for joy, Betty. Look at that. You're jumping for joy. Back to my PC. Yeah, it's always the first steps that are hard to get to. Yeah. Exactly. And they are... But once you do, and you can kind of say, like, and kind of break that, like, break that desired, like, habit loop. Like, that's one of my probably big things for 2026 is just to not be on my phone as much. That's really my thing. Is like I kind of catch myself, like if I'm trying to avoid something, or if there's like why I'm on my phone or whatever. Like oftentimes I can never come up with a reason, and just being able to say that out loud in itself is good, because you can kind of break yourself out of like why am I even doing this, and like being able to give yourself that space to potential almost just got rocked. Giving yourself that opportunity to create that space to make that decision is inherently good, and hard for folks to obtain that separation. Because I keep seeing a lot of things pop up, and some of it's actually pretty true, where we have been so, I don't want to say conditioned's the right word, but provided with so much entertainment and so much like things to keep our attention that we don't know how to be quote unquote bored anymore. Which I find interesting, and I think it's kind of good to be bored sometimes. Just to like be with yourself and your like own thoughts, instead of like just trying to avoid stuff. I'm not trying to sound preachy, by the way. But alright, I feel like Nidoran is gonna do something stupid, so I'm gonna switch. We're gonna give the old switch out, I think. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And just realizing too, like, you know, I think that there's almost like a low sense of like anxiety being on your phone the entire time, because it's like in the back of your head, you know, like whether you consciously are aware of it or not, like you're wasting time. And so it's like you're getting numb to the fact that you're wasting time, but there's still a part of you that's still like recognizing that you're wasting time to a degree. And it's like there's nothing wrong with like relaxation or rewarding yourself, don't get me wrong, but like doing it not mindfully is, I guess, like kind of what I'm getting at. Like just having it just kind of be almost like a dopamine leak, like without you being aware that it's happening. And then like, you know, those instances where it's like, oh wow, I've been doom scrolling for the last hour. It's like, that's not good. But that's just one of my long-winded health goals for the year. But enough about me yapping, chat. Didn't mean to get all philosophical on you. But yeah, hopefully you guys have some good goals or something to look forward to in 2026. Even if it's a collection goal, doesn't even have to be all serious about life. Hopefully it's a card that you've been looking for, and hopefully it stumbles across. That's so funny. Yeah, it's just... And it's funny too, because like, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but it seems like TikTok and just social media in general has been getting a lot worse. Like, just like the sheer amount of like AI ads and like AI generated content and like all this stuff. It's just like, man, I can't keep doing this. Can't be just like taking in AI slop and ads and Oh, I just totally skipped over Pidgey evolving into a Pidgeotto. There we go. Bardian, congratulations. You evolved into a Pidgeotto. Imagine 100 years, we tell someone about 100 carat... Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just too much. Like, I just hate, you know, there are instances of, like, AI that does help in certain areas, but I think shoving AI down everything imaginable is so bad. But I just genuinely, like, my coworkers and I talk about this often, where I think the reason why AI is so popular on a very, very broad stroke sense is because it's the first time, like, if you guys are old enough to where, like, Ask Jeeves existed, like, in the same realm as Google, like, during that early age of, like, search engines, I think most of us, including myself in this, believed that there was, like, a person that, like, if you asked, like, a genuine question, you would get a genuine response. Like, I thought, like, Ask Jeeves, I thought I was literally asking a person a question on the other end, and they were purposely answering my question. But back then, you had to really be strategic on, like, search words and how to phrase questions. But now, AI has allowed us to just do that, like, ask a genuine question and get somewhat of a genuine response. But I think the kind of, like, the expectation of good enough is good enough, I think that's why AI is running rampant, because, like, you know, there are instances where it's wrong. But if it's good enough, not like there are people that just look the other way. Because it's just good enough. They don't care enough to check it, or they don't care enough to proofread it or challenge it or whatever. They just, as long as it's good enough, that's perfect. Send it on to the next. And I think that's what happens a lot with, like a lot of, like, game developers and stuff like that, where, you know, on one hand I see, like, helping expedite, like, making something as simple as a background. But, you know, if someone's looking at the details of your game and notices a background character that has 6, like, or, you know, 7 or 8 fingers on their hand, or looks odd, or like just because you thought it was good enough, like, someone's gonna catch it and it's not gonna look good. And I just think that people are too quick to write off people of just writing off, saying, hey, like, we can cut costs by having AI, but then we give all the power to these big AI companies anyway. So yeah, it's really just, it's up to people to say, like, hey, like, you know, like, people gotta say, no, I don't like this. That's why, like, a lot of, I even see a lot of, like, brands, like, generating their logos with AI. And even that's just like, man, like, that's not a good look. That is not a good look. But, you know, at the end of the day, people can still try to vote with their wallet to the best of your ability. You are still alive. Yes. I had to switch you out because you got almost over-leveled. Or not over-leveled in the sense of a good thing, over-leveled that a lot of the trainers I was facing were almost double your level. So I have to train you later. But to keep you alive, I had to bring in Site, aka Mankey, into the mix to keep you alive. Because we have the final battle of the Nugget Bridge. Yes, so Zubat evolves in... So, Golbat evolves into Crobat due to high friendship stat. But Zubat evolves into Golbat, I think, at, like, level 20 or 22. One of those. So I'm just going to get everyone up to 17, because that one 18 encounter got me a little spooked. Because, again, I'm playing... So this is a remake of Yellow. So I'm trying not to cheat and look at everyone's parties ahead of time. So I'm kind of discovering it all in real time. All right. Thanks for liking the live, Chris. Appreciate you. Right now I'm just kind of power leveling here. Alright, so waste is 17, 17, 17. So potential is the only one. Yes, so that is where we have to hopefully catch an Abra. That's the big goal. Because that's why, like, I don't know, like, on one hand, I have to think, like, do I want the Charmander? Because I'm about to go up, because I don't know if there, I think there is an Abra. I think there is an Abra up in the top part, in the traditional game. I don't know about, I would imagine this one too, but there's also the Charmander. So, on one hand, Charmander would be good, I guess, for the Zard. Because just having another fire type would be good. Because Cinnabar Island, I want to try to use one of the fossils to have that be my encounter. But at the same time, I don't know. Because do I have Great Balls? I have one. Actually, I should probably check how many Pokeballs I have. I feel like I don't have that many. Oh, I have 17. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna do a little Swapperoonie here. A Nugget. I would love, like, if I actually had the choice, I would say yes. Let me join Team Rocket. Let me join. Damn it. Alright, so it's not that bad. Ooh, nice little burn action. Nice little burn action. Probably should have roared, to be honest, but it's alright. Zubat. We are cooking this man alive. Oh yeah, it's GG's. All right, what do you guys think? Should we get, so for our encounter, so we get a new, I believe that Abra on the 24 in yellow. Okay. Yeah, sounds right. Because I think, because Celadon, I could technically get one through coins to buy one outright. But I just don't know, like, because the thing is here, because where am I? Town map. So I think this should be, yeah, so 24, I think is that spot. Because I'll get, like, I think we, you know what? Screw it. We're gonna, Charizard's ass. Charizard's bad. We don't need a Charmander. We're going to go for something else. Because we actually have a pretty good... We have a pretty good pool of Mons that allow us to... We got Thunder Wave. That gives us a reroll of encounters. So we're going to go for it. We're We're going to try to go for your Abra, Apple. But just know, I only have one Great Ball, and it's just, I could lose the encounter. And it's a Bellsprout. But it is my favorite Pokemon, which is a Victory Bell. So, there is that. I guess I gotta buy one. Unless you want to be named after a Bellsprout. Alright, let's see here. Who should I name? Already named you, named you. I don't know who's in here, but if anyone wants to be named after Bellsprout. Number 69 in the Pokédex. Let's see. Bellsprout, what should you be named? I think you should. I'm trying to think of people that have come through the chat. Wait, who was? I had someone earlier today. Let's see. There we go. Maybe Blake. Blake, the Bellsprout. Good job, Blake. Make sure we save here so I remember. And then let's check in on Betty. Boom. Happy as can be. There it is. Alright, chat. I think that is going to be it for me tonight. Because I still have a lot of cards to... process. I'm not done. I have a ton of cards to the left of me that I gotta go through. So yeah, appreciate you guys hanging out. Episode 93 in the books. If you guys are new here, I would love to see you again if you want to follow me. I'm currently streaming on YouTube and TikTok, so if you guys are new, make sure to follow to see me. I stream every Wednesday. Actually, no. It's going to change starting next week. It's going to be Tuesdays instead of Wednesdays. Same time, 8 o'clock, but it's going to be shifting to Tuesdays instead of Wednesdays, just from work and whatnot. So it's a little bit of a schedule change, but not crazy. Follow the Discord if you haven't already. I'm going to be making some suggestion boxes for a just Tuesday. Mondays are always kind of in the air, but my Wednesday streams are going to go to Tuesday. I'm going to be making a suggestion box for an online vendor show the first of every Sunday. So the next one, or the first one, is going to be, I think, February 1st. So I'm going to be asking you guys on Discord on things that you might want to see in that, so take a look at that. You can follow my Discord in the link in the bio. So I will see you guys on Tuesday. If I don't see you, have a great one, and I'll catch you guys